Welcome to the Marvelous Work and a Wonder Worldwide Radio Talk Show. At no time during the history of our world has a place existed where a person can go and ask any question about their human existence and have that question answered with authority, clarity, and completeness. During this radio talk show, many of the great and marvelous things that have been hidden from our understanding since the foundation of this world will be revealed. We've always known these real truths. They exist, hidden in the back of our mind within the confines of our imagination. Within the human mind, seeds of imagination sprout into belief systems of philosophy and religion. But these do not answer the basic questions of our existence. Who are we, and why do we exist? Religion and philosophy have produced fruits of discord, prejudice, and hate. These things are destroying our humanity. The purpose of the Marvelous Work and a Wonder is to introduce the real truth about our existence as human beings. Within its answers, the solutions to our human problems are found. Most of our problems are a cause of our ignorance, and our current experience upon this earth manifests the influence of this ignorance. This show is where current reality meets real truth.
I'm talking a little bit about the Worldwide United Foundation concepts and what needs to happen so we can end poverty in this world. Now, the whole purpose of this work and my job is that I have the answers. This work has the answers to all the problems. The Worldwide United Foundation, the plan is not to give the people money. It's to give them the basic necessities of life so they don't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about living. They don't have to worry about a good, safe place to live, good food, healthy food to eat, good education if they want it, good health care. They don't have to worry about those things. The things that you hear from the pundits and from the politicians are simply utopian, idealistic lies that they want people to think that they're all about. They don't have a clue how to solve the problems with the job today. They have no idea of how to solve it. And they're not going to solve it until they realize one thing. Technology is the culprit for taking away jobs. Technology is what has taken jobs away. And you cannot replace humans with technology. Technology is much more efficient. It does a better job. It takes less energy. It doesn't call in sick. It doesn't have emotional problems. And there's no way that this world is going to get rid of technology. So now you got all these human beings running around without a job. And the Republicans will tell you this, well, we want to change that, but it's not by taxing the rich. Because if you let the rich have the money, the rich get their money by investing it in businesses and creating more jobs. People think that if you put wealth in the hands of just a few, that they'll create jobs for the other. The Republicans will say, we're going to reduce the taxes on the rich and on businesses so that they can hire more people. That has never worked. It's never happened. It's not going to happen because there's just nothing for the businesses to do. What's happened, if people can't figure it out, is that, let's say, for example, let's take the hypothetical widget. A company is going to produce widgets and then sell them to the public. Well, the manufacturer of the widget, and the widget represents most all products now, the company can get that widget produced out of the United States for much, much, much cheaper. So China's become, for example, manufacturing hub of our economy. America is a consumer hub. So you got a product, and then we're taking from all these other countries all the resources, the materials, as cheap as you can get them. And you got to get those materials somewhere. And the way that, and American companies, those companies, not just America, and other nations too, they know that they're going to find the resources and the materials to make their widgets from the poorest countries and pay the least they can to the laborers who produce those things. It's not done in America anymore. You can't. It's very hard to produce anything in America because people demand higher wages to produce those things that other people in other countries, especially China, are willing to produce for much, much, much cheaper. And now with the advent of international trade and the way that products are shipped via ships over the sea, airplane, it's very easy and cost effective for a company to have China be their manufacturer for their products. So what do Americans do? The American economy is based now principally on retail, selling those products. So they get a product that might cost $1, and they up the price 2, 3, whatever they can get out of it, and they're retailing all these products. So the jobs that are created out there are created from consumerism, the more people buy, and the retail side. The retail side is simply taking a product, the widget that's already made in China more cheaply than it is here in America, and selling it. Let me give you a scenario of what happens. They give me $1 billion to create a business. I create me a business that puts lamps together. Christopher Lamps Incorporated. Who in the world wants a job? I need people. I'm going to put out there, I need 1,000 people to put together my lamps. I'm going to pay you all $10 an hour. That's a good wage for standing there on a friggin' assembly line, putting one part on the lamp, passing it to another person, having that person put a part on every single day. What kind of job is that? Yet if I did that, and I created Christopher Lamps, I'd be a hero. I'd be a hero to the world. They'd say, look how many jobs this rich guy is creating because he has a lamp company and he's investing in our community. He's creating all these jobs for all these people. Those are jobs. Those are jobs that people want. People don't want that kind of job. The majority of the people in this world cannot stand their job. So what does a business owner do? Okay, I don't need people who can't stand their jobs. I'm going to get a robot, a computer, some other type of technology to work for me for a lot less money than what these people work for and a lot less problems. And so now you got all these humans. They've dehumanized the job market to such an extent that there just simply are not enough jobs.
We need to put more emphasis on solving poverty than we do on warfare. As conscientious humans, we simply have to decide that this is what we want to do. We've put men on the moon and explored space to the tune of billions and billions of dollars, but for what? So that we can agree that we don't know much about space? But how much investment and research do we put into solving the issue of poverty? Can you imagine how it would be if the same human talent and resources were used to solve poverty that are used to explore space? But space exploration is not the biggest human expenditure and waste. War is. More money is made by those who finance, develop, and research how to kill people than any other human pursuit upon this earth. So what would happen if we took the amount of time and money used to fight war and put them to use in fighting poverty? And this is how we can do it. Big government contracts are made every day with corporations who do research and development to expand a military's capability to win a war. Weapons contracts are more lucrative than any other that exist. What if we told the corporations that we are going to pay out some big money to those who can solve the food crisis throughout the world? We announce that there will be lucrative government contracts available for anyone that can grow and provide wholesome, healthy food to the world. We will pay these corporations for producing it. Because now the desire for money is not in war, but in food production, because that's where the most lucrative government contracts are. The lucrative government contracts motivate businesses and people who want to become wealthy. And since humans are driven towards greed and material wealth, and we will never change this part of a free will society, we must learn to utilize human nature without threatening it. And it's very simple to understand the basic premise of the Worldwide United Foundation's plan. Its plan is to change the mindset of the corporations of the world, to beat their swords into plowshares, and change the way that the corporations are motivated to make their money. The idea of replacing military strength with social welfare strength, although preferred, is not realistic in today's world. The presentation of the Worldwide United Foundation's plan uses the idea of beating swords into plowshares theoretically. It attempts to represent how the governments of the world spend money on things that take human life without benefiting the purpose of human life, that is, the pursuit of happiness. Because human nature is what it is, a proud sovereign nation, even a competing corporation, cannot be trusted to agree to or support a concept that benefits all nations equally. Therefore, there exists the necessity of a strong security force, stronger than any other in the world, to protect worldwide human interests. The Worldwide United Foundation supports a strong security force that exists solely for the purpose of defending the rights of all people equally. Outside the hypothetical, idealistic, yet unrealistic proposal to replace military spending with basic human needs spending, if the governments of the world eliminated space exploration, for one of many, many examples of very expensive government-backed programs that do not directly benefit the human race upon the earth at this time, and that show no reasonable benefit to the plight of human beings who are hungry, sick, homeless, and uneducated, these same resources could easily be reallocated for something that benefits humankind today. If the United States of America were attacked, what budget wouldn't Congress approve to protect it? Is that the downfall of their nation is not going to come from another nation attacking them. The American way of life and its standards are being attacked from within by its ever-growing population of the tired, the poor, the huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse, the homeless, the tempest-tossed, the very same people that the American Statue of Liberty invites into the United States. The United States Constitution already provides an amendment that by its very law seems to mandate that its states protect their citizens' life, liberty, or property. The 14th Amendment states in part, quote, "Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law," unquote. If a person lives in the United States and cannot find work, or does not have food, or a home, or clothing, or health care, this person is being deprived of these things, which are necessary for a human to have life and liberty. If a state does not have laws in place that provides its citizens with what they need for life, is not that state depriving them of their constitutional rights? The Worldwide United Foundation supports the drafting of an international law that guarantees a human being the right to the basic necessities of life from the day of birth up to the day of death. Any violation of this law would be considered a crime against humanity and punishable as any other crime against humanity is punished. But where is all the money going to come from to provide every human with the basic necessities of life? And we can do this by saying, for example, produce this type of housing that is safe and reliable, good housing. And if you do, we're going to pay you very well. And by changing the motivational factors that influence corporate greed into providing all the basic necessities of life to everyone free of charge, the rich can become richer by being more humane. And that speaks to their consciousness. Let me tell you how simple it would be. It is as simple as printing a credit card. Today, someone can apply for a credit card and receive it in a few days in the mail. What if we did this? What if we had a card, a human card, and with that card, a human being could use it to pay for their utilities, they could pay for their rent, and would also act as an insurance card that would pay for their health care, could also pay for their food with it. So you print the cards and give them to any life form that can laugh, smile, and cry. In other words, if you're human, you get a card the moment you're born. You give them to everyone in the world. With the card, a person can buy the things that the card allows them from any business that offers the things that the card allows. A retailer is paid for the product by the government just like they would receive payment for a normal credit card. The governments of the world would print the money needed to pay the bill and strictly regulate inflation on the products that the human card can purchase. What's going to happen is that all the people in the world are going to go out and buy the food that tastes the best. And the card is going to limit their purchases to only healthy food. They're going to go out and find the best health care. They're not going to give their human card to a doctor who's not nice to them, or to a doctor who cannot see them when they want to be seen, or to a doctor who has a bad reputation. Therefore, competition takes hold. They will then advertise their product, and make their company more service-oriented, and they will compete with others to gain the business of the human cardholders. Thus, the business owners will become wealthy and rich if they provide good products and services. Most people's dilemma with this plan is that they wonder who's going to pay for all this. Well, the same money that pays billions of dollars every day to wage warfare will pay for human welfare. Inflation will not be a problem because the products that are paid for by the government will be subject to an inflationary law that will mandate that inflation cannot increase across the board more than 1.5%. That means no one can raise their prices more than 1.5% on the products and services that the human card is allowed to purchase. If a business wants to make more money, it has to provide the products and services that the people need and that the card pays for, thus increasing their profit according to the quality of the goods and services they provide. But then people will say, that will make people not want to work. People do not want to just exist in a safe house with electricity and good food to eat. Once they start eating good food, their minds automatically are going to start working right away, and they'll have the energy to want to do something with their lives. They'll want to watch a TV, for example, but the human credit card does not allow them to buy a television. It only allows them to buy the basic necessities of life. So then they'll be forced by sheer necessity and personal motivation to go out and get a job so that they can buy that television, so they can buy themselves a car that will allow them to travel, or so that they can get a bigger and better house than what they're provided for by the human card. See, healthy and happy people do not just sit around all day and do nothing. They want to expand their horizons and expand their experience. And once their basic necessities are taken care of, they are going to pursue what the world has to offer them. They're not going to sit in their house lazily like some people think would happen. That is a very, very ignorant argument. The best thing about taking care of people's necessities is that businesses are going to improve working conditions across the board because people are not going to be forced to work. Those who set up a business are going to be forced to compete for workers. They will have to treat workers well, pay them well, and treat them as good employees. Or a person will simply say, hey, I don't need this job. I've got food to eat and a place to live. I'm going to find me a job where I will be treated better. People will work, of course. They will work more than they ever have before if they are provided with the necessities of life. Happiness would spread unlike any other time in our history. Even people today who are living on Social Security, and they have Section 8 housing or food stamps and have all their needs taken care of, they don't just sit around and do nothing. Listen, you go into a Walmart and show me where there is a lack of food and products. But how do these products get there? People come and go day by day and take the stuff out of the stores. We already have the technology and the ability to transport products throughout this world in record time. We can put a Walmart in every corner of the earth, in every city, in Sudan, the Congo, Darfur, and give people a human credit card that is good at these stores and say, get everything that you need. How could there be any robberies at the store? How could there be any thieves who are saying, I'm going to steal your card? They get one anyway. Every human being gets a card. And if you lose, you get another card without identification or red tape. Your identification is that you are a human. Thieves will have no incentive to sell these stolen items to people because the people can already get them for free. So we think about all the problems that are happening throughout the world that are a cause of so much hopelessness and poverty. If somebody stood up and said, let's stop these ridiculous wars that are going on. Turn in your guns and your flak jackets and we're going to give you this card. With this card, you can go into any store and buy all the good, wholesome food that you want. This card will allow you to pay your rent, your utilities for you and your families. This card will provide you free medical care in great hospitals that are going to be set up. You just go into the hospital, show them your card, be cared for, and the doctors in these hospitals will charge the government the money and they will be paid. Who is going to pay the human credit cards off? Why, the World Bank. And where's the World Bank going to get the money to pay all this off? It is going to print it like it does every day in order to finance the economies of the world, which generally are all associated with some type of warfare. When they print the money, the corporations out there that provide goods and services are going to want to get this new money. And they're going to do everything within their power to get the people who have the new money to come to their stores with their human card. A doctor is going to be better at performing his or her services. A retailer is going to be better producer of good, wholesome foods. And all these business owners are going to become as rich as the weapon manufacturers. People of the world who provide the goods and services that maintain the simple necessities of human life are going to become the wealthiest people in the world. Instead, today, the most wealthiest and powerful people in the world are those who deal in military arms. Ironic, isn't it? To the people who are out there spending 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week at least, plus overtime, making minimum wage, who cannot even cover their rent and their utilities and their food, it's become a hopeless situation. They have no incentive to work. They think, why should I work? Why don't I sponge off my parents? Why not just go on government welfare? The greatest incentive for the human mind, the greatest motivator, is doing things that we want to do, not things that we need to do. We hate doing things that we are forced to do or need to do. We love doing things that we want to do. A person who is provided with the basic necessities of life is going to spend a lot more money in the economy and work harder for those things that he or she wants than one who lives hopelessly in despair and poverty. All you have to do is visit poor families and wealthy families. The kids who belong to wealthy families do not do anything for their basic necessities. They have all the food they need, their homes paid for, their medical care is paid for, but they are driven to have more things. They want to get out there and enter the workforce or go to college and do all the things that they want because all of their basic necessities are taken care of. Then you go to a poor country. Those people do not have any incentive to do those types of things. Why should they? Their life is so hard that they do not have an opportunity to do what they want because they are constantly doing everything that they need to survive. We will never change human nature. All we can hope to do is motivate human nature. Let the rich be rich and the greedy be greedy, but make their incentive and motivation become life-preserving instead of life-destroying.